is a hump day. It is a Trump day. You know we love it, right? We love it. We're doing a tremendous job. There's a huge audience in here, record numbers. We love these people. We absolutely love these people. Good morning to the Ungovernables, the Captain's crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation. We are coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee. In my humble opinion, the greatest state in the country, right? On rumble.com/LFA TV, also on X. Welcome to Ungoverned. We're happy to be here. And we see a very, very large audience today. Bigger than Chris Christie, J.B. Pritzker, Stacey Abrams, Rosie O'Donnell, and so many other people combined. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let us know in the chat where you are watching from. It's a hump day. It's a Trump day. We got everything here for you. Action is incorporated. Best Trump impersonator. Yay. We love the yay. We love yay. Isn't well, not Kanye, but we love this yay. It's a fantastic thing. Welcome to everybody. Let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Let's break Rumble's servers this morning. You know, Rumble's servers have not been broken since Dan Bongino assumed his new role over at the FBI. Let's break them right here. Let's break the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Big D from Arizona, right? That's Dave Knudsen. We love him. He's watching over in Arizona. North Carolina's in the house. Kansas City, Missouri is in the house. We love it. Going to get your chats up on the screen in just a moment as we're working, and just make sure that that works well. We want that to look good, right? We want that to look beautiful, and it's going to look tremendous, like I say. Here we go. Your chats are on the screen right there. You can see it. Look at this. I cannot. The USS, what is that? The USS Abrams. Oh, that's a joke about either that's a joke about Stacey Abrams or that gentleman or I don't want to assume your gender, but you know, that person right there is actively serving. So that might be I think the USS Abrams is a joke about Stacey. Look at everybody. I can't even keep up with it. I can't even keep up with Florida, Louisiana, Virginia, Wisconsin, Long Island. Look at that. Indiana in the house. Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Michigan did very well in Michigan. Washington. Denver, Colorado. Indiana again. Look at that. Upper Michigan. Pennsylvania. Florida. Look at this. Yeah, that was a Stacey joke. Okay, see, I got the joke. We love it. By the way, as I don't know who this Action is Incorporated person is, but they seem to be really cool. We usually, when we refer to Stacey Abrams, we do the whistle, you know, because she's got that gap in her teeth. So we go like this. Ready? Everybody do it with Stacey Abrams. And according to many of the OGs in the audience, who we love the OGs. They're great people, right? We love the OGs. These are tremendous people. Apparently some of their pets go crazy. Remember when we were on at 5 and Winky's dog knew that was dinner time? Then we went back to the morning, and now Winky's dog is like, it must be breakfast time. So there we go. Look at this chat going. Upstate New York. I love upstate New York. I miss upstate New York. St. Augustine, Florida, Brennan. St. Augustine, Florida. Brennan is from Tallahassee, right? We love that. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful people. Look at these beautiful people. All right. We got a lot to get to today, folks. The theme of today's show is going to be the great news that we got yesterday, that Donald Trump is putting a hold on all new student visas coming into the country. And one of the things that I love to see when he does things like this are I call them the woke right. I'm not the only one who calls them this, but there's a because where'd the term woke come from? It came from, originally, it became from the black community, right? Being awake about the fact that white people have always oppressed them. So they say, right? And so the woke right, they call themselves noticers. It's the exact same thing, right? These people are, quote unquote, apparently awake to this idea that Jews run the world. Right? So for the African American, well, not the black community, BLM radical leftists, white people are bad. For the woke right, Jews are bad, right? So what I love about these student visas and the whole debate surrounding the student visas is people go, here we go, Donald Trump is putting Israel first again, blah, 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 blah. Now, how about he just doesn't want these maniacs coming to our country, studying in our country, we're allowing them into our home, and then they're trashing our home, right? How about it's about Donald Trump and the administration, Marco Rubio included, looking at these people, right, and say, you want to hurt our country, you don't want to help our country, you want to hurt our country, we don't want that. So you have essentially a group of students that are coming to our country who want to facilitate our downfall. They don't deserve to study here. Get them the hell out. And that's essentially what this administration is doing here by revoking or pausing, not revoking, but pausing all new student visa interviews and applications. It's essentially the same thing. It's essentially the same thing as closing the border, right? You know, the idea with the border is, and why were we so upset with the border? We were upset with the wide open border, not just because people were coming in massive numbers and we can't sustain that many people coming in at once. That's part of it. But the people who were coming in, right? The people who were coming in, we didn't know who they were. We didn't know why they were here. We didn't know what they wanted to do. We didn't know where they were coming from. We knew nothing. We knew nothing about the tens of millions of people who were coming across the border into our country. They were unvetted, right? And the ironic part about them being unvetted was that this was a point in time, 2021, 2022, where we all had to be vetted to get something to eat in New York City, right? We needed to show your papers, right? We needed to show our vax papers, our vaccine passports, right? In order to get a hamburger in New York City, unless you knew a place that was operating, like a true American business, right? And decided they didn't want to do papers. But they had no problem vetting people, with regards to their vax status. They didn't want to vet people coming across the border. Well, we're doing the same thing with these students. I think it is more than appropriate to look at these students who are applying for visas, right? Applying for the right to come into our country to study, to find out who they are first and what they're about. I think that's reasonable, right? Put it this way. You're getting work done. Let's say you have to invite a painter into your house to have your house painted. You're going to probably want to know a little bit about that person, read the reviews, see their body of work, get to know them, right? It's like an introduction interview. You want to know who's coming into your house before you let them into your house. You're not just going to be like, yeah, whatever, we'll just find Joe Schmo the painter, let him in. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and find Joe Schmo the plumber, let him in. Who cares, right? You want to vet these people first, and that is exactly what is going on and what the administration is trying to do here with these student visas, which I happen to think is a phenomenal development. I think it's great. Woke righties don't necessarily think it's great because they think it's, of course, it's the Jews. So there you go. It's all about vetting and finding out exactly who is coming into our country. That is the point. That is what we're trying to, what this administration is trying to do. All right, we have that. We have a couple of other things. Obviously, we have the debate about Doge cuts that are going around right now. Senators over in obviously the Senate Republicans are demanding more cuts in the big, beautiful bill. So there's going to be some negotiations. Donald Trump is speaking out more and more about the Biden autopen scandal. There was a report that came out this morning that Pocahontas, what do we call it, Pocahontas? Elizabeth Warren, right? Chief Spitting Bull, right? Chief Spitting Bull. And she sits on the bowl, but she's Spitting Bull sugar honey iced tea, right? Pocahontas, you look at her. The only human being in the history of the world to fail a DNA test. Nobody thought it was possible until it became possible. There's a report going around. I don't know how true it is. But there's a report going around. This is not me saying that this is what it is the case or was the case, that Elizabeth Warren controlled the autopen. So Pocahontas sent smoke signals to the White House, to Joe Biden, who was like, smoke signals, man, I want to sniff them. And then they did a little rain dance, right? We're a rain dance with Chief Corn Pop, who's a bad dude. And she was controlling the autopen, according to a report. I haven't confirmed it. I just saw the report this morning. It could be true. I wouldn't be shocked if it was. But that's, of course, it has not been verified yet. So we will see as more information on that keeps coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if Pocahontas played a role. The public, by the way, the all of us, which is it's exciting. It's exciting. Is furious with the mainstream media about the Biden health cover-up, the cognitive decline, the possibly now the cancer, which many people seem to believe Joe Biden had it during his presidency. So the public is disgusted with it. Democrats have a plan to try and win back young men. That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. We'll explain why. And potentially, the auto quill. Give me a break, Annette Smith. That's the comment of the day. The auto quill. I used to. This woman, the Democrats, the party of race baiting and cultural appropriation and all that crap, right? And what do we get from it? We get a woman who's lied about being Native American for her entire career in order to advance her career. So we got that, and of course now. And I know some people may be tired of it, so we're not going to spend that much time on it. Because I really don't want to take away from what this administration is accomplishing. But a potential piece of disturbing information regarding the scourge of putrid endorsements that we have seen and what that means for our future. But we'll get to that at the end if we have time. I don't want to be negative Nancy today. We've got a big audience today. I don't want to take away from the movement. I don't want to seem like I'm just a critic of Trump every time he does something that I don't like. So we will get to it at the end if we have time. We'll start with the student visas. We'll get into some other clips too, by the way. Some real racism. Real deep-rooted racism in the Democrat Party. We'll get to that as well. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our really good friends, our wonderful friends, OFP Farms, OFPFarms.com. You guys know all about, wait a minute, what they did for Mother's Day. Well, this is the Mother's Day box right here, all right? It was an amazing gift set. This is the third year in a row that we have seen their Mother's Day gift box. It was amazing. Soaps, lotions, lip balms, well, you don't need beard products for Mother's Day. I would hope not. Well, but you never know, right? You never know. You never know. But here we go. Big news. Hot off the farm, folks. OFP Farms is dishing out a barn load of gift sets to make your dad, your papa, your husband, your son, your best uncle, or that special father figure in your life feel like a king this Father's Day. Choose from the fabulous line of beard and bath sets, soap boxes, wellness bundles, and even more. Round up your orders today, ladies and gentlemen. This time is ticking. Time is wasting away to get these goodies shipped out to your father. And while, listen, we all loved the Pony Express, right, back in the day, we now have to trust the good old USPS, United States Postal Service, to deliver the goods on time. Guess what? You can lasso. I love this. This is great. You can lasso a 20, because it's farm language, right? Farm lingo. You can lasso a 20% discount on your entire purchase with the code Sean, SHAWN. Look, normally it's 15% off. But for Father's Day, OFP Farms Father's Day, 20% off. Check out your screen right now, OFPFarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Over at OFPFarms.com, place your order. Get in while the getting's good. If you loved the Mother's Day gift boxes, now your dad is jealous because mom got a gift box. Dad can get a gift box too, and you can still get 20% off. OFPFarms.com, promo code Sean. OFPFarms.com, promo code SHAWN. Pause. T. Oh, by the way, look at this. This is the OFP Farms mug. Look at that.
Look at that. It's like you planned it.
It's like I planned it. No, this is one of my favorite mugs. It's big. Holds a lot of tea, and we're ready to rock and roll. Donald Trump is putting a pause on all new student visas, and ladies and gentlemen, let me know. Are you here for this? Are you excited about this?
Yeah.
Is this something that makes you happy? I am very happy over these the pause being placed on these student visas. How about you? Let's see. Let me hear it from you in the live chat. Are you guys happy about this story? Because I think this is great for national security. I think this is great for the quality of education, right? And the quality of life on college campuses. This on hotair.com, the great Ed Morrissey. Universities and colleges across the country can thank Harvard for this latest development, right? So Donald Trump was attempting to tell Harvard that they are not allowed to bring in any more foreign students. And so a court, of course, an activist judge, a district court, said, you can't do that. So you know what Donald Trump did? Okay. He said, okay. Wait. Let's have some fun today. He said, okay. If I can't do one school, then we're going to do all the schools, right? No more foreign students for anybody. Because they were saying that, he was discriminating against Harvard. Crimea River, right? So, all right, so now he's not discriminating against Harvard anymore, right? Now he's not discriminating against Harvard anymore. Now he's saying nobody can do it. Great job, Harvard. All these other schools are like, look what you did. Courts won't allow the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, to deal directly with Harvard on compliance for student education visa program. The administration is just making it more difficult for everybody instead. Way to go, Harvard. What a fine mess you've gotten us into, said several other schools who rely on foreign student enrollment. Seems to be the case right now, although this may have accelerated a project that would have started soon anyway. After a federal court issued a stay that allows Harvard to continue enrolling foreign students, the Trump administration paused the whole program. All right. You want to pause, you want to say that we can't just pick on Harvard? No problem. Nobody's allowed. Embassies and consulates have been ordered to stop conducting necessary interviews to process those applications until new vetting standards are put into place. According to Politico, now, Politico has been known to have, shall we be kind, a shaky relationship with the truth. However, Politico obtained some documentation. They are requiring all foreign students applying to study in the United States to undergo social media vetting. Social media vetting. Now, I don't have a problem with this. Right? Think about it. If you apply for certain jobs, not just going to school, but jobs, working for some companies will actually require, or at least request, that you provide them with your social media accounts so they can take a look at it and determine whether or not you're going to be a detriment to the company. So I don't see a free speech issue with that because, again, these companies have the right to put those standards in. Again, the First Amendment, what does the First Amendment protect you from? It protects you from government. It protects you from government retribution for things that you say that are protected by the First Amendment, right? Free speech. Doesn't protect you from companies looking at your social media saying, well, we choose not to hire you because this appears to be an indictment on your character. It certainly doesn't protect foreign students. And, a lot of the people, they express their views and opinions and thoughts on social media quite vividly, especially these days, right? Where there's a competition to get the most likes. It's like, remember Howard Stern? I mean, he's still around. But when he broke out on radio, he was known as a shock jock, right? Meaning you would listen to this guy on terrestrial radio and he would say these things, right? Some of them were sexual in nature. A lot of it was. That was kind of his brand. He would use very crass language, right? Because people would hear it and they would be like, whoa, what did he just say? And now you're sitting there going, well, I wonder what he's going to say next. It's actually part of the reason why Donald Trump was so effective in 2016 and why he's continued to be so effective since then. He's the political equivalent, essentially, of a shock jock, right? Coming out and on the debate stage, basically, having a you-know-what measuring contest for Marco Rubio was hilarious. Coming out on the debate stage and saying, no, I didn't refer to all women as pigs, only Rosie O'Donnell, was hilarious. On a debate stage with Hillary Clinton saying the one difference between Abraham Lincoln and you is that Abraham Lincoln never lied and you do, right? Essentially, I paraphrase, but it's what he said. Donald Trump was no filter, right? I wonder what he's going to say next. I wonder what he's going to do next. Howard Stern, shock jock. It's his brand. People turned on his radio program, not because they necessarily agreed with what he was saying, but because it was entertaining, because there was a shock value. And so social media has essentially become, in some aspects, the same thing. You have, on social media, genuinely talented reporters who are verifying their stories, who are not rushing, who are not sensationalizing. And then you have a very large and growing segment of people who made geese and stars and constellations and airplanes out to be this sinister drone operation in New Jersey, not because they thought they were ahead on some scoop, but because they want the clicks. It's the shock value. It's the sensationalism. The truth, which we put out about the drones when we found out about it, that it was a 2023 sanctioned research operation with a press release in New Jersey, right, where the Terradynamics XP4 transwing drone was being tested in a research corridor over New Jersey, completely debunked all the craziness. That got absolutely no play, while nonsense clickbait sensationalism was spread around the internet like wildfire. Right? Like wildfire. So the internet and social media in this day and age has become a breeding ground for online shock jocks, essentially, right? Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Some people go to these protests and they question people, and there's, exciting content. I'm not saying that it all has to stop. What I'm saying is a lot of people vividly express their opinion on social media because there's a competition going on. Who can most vividly express their opinion? Who can say the most outlandish thing? Who can tweet the most insane stories? Who can sensationalize the best to get those clicks, to get those views, to try and accrue those new followers? Even though your credibility is in the toilet, people don't care about that. And so when you look at these students who are coming into the United States, right, they are doing the same thing on social media. They're posting death to America, right? They're posting from the river to the sea. They're posting on social media calls for a global intifada, which is not, as one caller on 1210 WPHT when I was filling in said, it's not violent, it's just a revolution. Oh, it's just a revolution. Intifada, the definition of intifada is a violent, or it used to be, maybe they changed it, but a violent uprising of the Palestinian people, right? How come the only time we hear about Israel, quote unquote, genociding Palestinians is in Gaza and not in the West Bank? There's Palestinians in the West Bank and Israel as well. We don't hear about a quote-unquote genocide there. You would think if Israel wanted to wipe out Palestinians, they would just be doing it equally everywhere. They're not. They're out there in Gaza waging war on Hamas because Hamas attacked them on October 7th, because they decided that Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, which was the beginning of their global intifada, their violent uprising, they decided to launch that attack on October 7th and kill 1,500 innocent people. That's not to say that Israel's not doing things wrong during this war. That's not to say that their military campaign has been perfect. It hasn't. War is brutal. I don't like war. I want it to stop. I wish it never started in the first place. Same with Russia and Ukraine. Russia's not perfect. Ukraine's not perfect. Putin's not perfect. Zelensky's not perfect. War is brutal. I want the war to stop, right? But the fact of the matter is, when you talk about these students now who are coming into our country, they are asking for the privilege to study in the greatest nation in the world at some of the most highly regarded institutions in the world. If they're posting anti-American sentiment, globalize the intifada. Again, that has nothing to do with Israel at that point in time. Globalize means take it worldwide. If they're posting death to America on social media, if they're, openly supporting Hamas or calls for Jewish genocide, Jewish American genocide, calling for Americans to be killed, non-believers, infidels, whatever the language is that they're using. If they're calling for that on social media, the United States of America, the executive branch and the State Department, as a part of the executive branch, has every right to look at a student like that who is posting that type of social media content and say, we don't want them here. Those people want to facilitate our downfall. I don't want to bring in somebody into my home, into my nation, who has expressed desires to destroy my nation. Imagine somebody who you meet in a supermarket, right? Who says, hey, Bad Moon, I'm coming to your house to destroy your house. If you let me in your house, I'm going to do everything that I can to destroy your house, to destroy your family, to vandalize, and to just make your life a living hell. Is Bad Moon going to let that person in their home? Well, maybe he will, because he'd probably take him out behind the woodshed and put one between his eyes. But the point of the matter is, he's going to neutralize the threat. instead of killing people because they came into the home or having to deal with detaining and deporting and all this, just don't let them in the first place. This social media vetting, I think, is a phenomenal idea when it comes to these student visas. And I think all the right people are upset about it. All the right people are upset about it. And there are people that are going to start drawing the false equivalence and say, whoa, Donald Trump is discriminating against students who are posting death to America or free Palestine or things like that on social media. We're next. No, he can't do that. He cannot discriminate against American citizens posting free Palestine on their social media because that is protected by the First Amendment. That is protected by the First Amendment. Students who are posting it overseas, that is not protected by the First Amendment. And they are not allowed or entitled to the right to come study in this country if they are publicly posting their desires to destroy this place. I love this idea. I love this idea. More from this story, by the way. More from this story. In preparation for such required vetting, the administration is ordering U.S. embassies and consular sections to pause scheduling new interviews for such student visa applications, according to the cable, dated Tuesday and signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Quote, effective immediately. In preparation for an expansion of required social media screening and vetting, consular sections should not add any additional student or exchange visitor visa appointment capacity until further guidance is issued, which we anticipate in the coming days. There you go. Now, he did this in his first term with entry visas from specific countries. It got tangled up in legal challenges. His effort intended to stop granting visas from countries where terrorism and oppression were major concerns, but it took several attempts and a switch to extreme vetting to get the courts to allow it. There is nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong with vetting potential visitors and students before they enter our country. As a matter of fact, I would have a problem if they weren't doing that. Just like we had a problem with Joe Biden's open border because people were pouring into our country without being vetted. We didn't know who they were. We didn't know where they came from. We didn't know what their intentions were. We didn't know how long they intended to stay. We didn't know if they were bringing in drugs. We didn't know if they were criminals. We didn't know until they started committing crimes what they were all about. The more vetting, the better. Vetting is security. We need our nation to be secure. I am tired of seeing these college campuses devolve into absolute chaos, not just anti-Semitism. People say, oh, you're just upset about anti-Semitism. No, I'm not just upset about anti-Semitism. I don't like anti-Semitism, don't get me wrong. I'm upset about anti-Americanism. You cannot come into my house and then start telling me that you want to burn my house down. I'm going to ask you to leave, and if you don't leave, we're going to make you leave. But if I know that you want to burn my house down before you get here, I'm not letting you in. And that's the point. That's the point. All right. Let me quick. Does that make sense? How we doing? We doing good? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. To those of you who are here, 18,000 this morning. Appreciate all of you guys and gals for being here. I know there's a lot of good content on at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We're happy that you've chosen LFA TV today. If you can, please hit that thumbs up button for us. We're way ahead of schedule. We are normally lagging way behind these numbers. If we get to 700, you'll see us bring out our mascot. That would be Mo the Hedgehog. Appreciate all you guys and gals here. Appreciate all you guys and gals here. If you don't have a Rumble account, we would really, really love it if you could make a Rumble account. It's completely free. It takes a couple seconds. Make sure that you're following this page, rumble.com/LFA TV. Hit that thumbs up button for us. We'd greatly appreciate that as well because that just helps us fly up the charts, helps more people find this network. We have over 12 straight hours of programming on LFA TV, on this network, on this channel, every single day right here on Rumble. You will not find a better lineup from a singular outlet on Rumble anywhere across the entire platform. We tell the truth, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of in-depth reporting, a lot of heavy conversations, a lot of heat, and a lot of just bringing the fire right here on LFA TV. And we're happy that you've chose us today. Stick around. You don't even have to click out into another show. This stream runs all day long. 12 hours of hard-hitting, truth-telling programming right here on LFA TV. With that said, I want to tell you about the LFA TV store, which is located on LFA TV's website. That's lfatv.us, lfatv.us, as we mentioned before. Father's Day, right around the corner. Maybe you need some gift ideas. I've got a bunch of great gift ideas for you right here at the LFA TV store. There's a bunch of good stuff. According to Jeremy yesterday, the Rise Up coffee is back. Came in. You were able to place your orders overnight or first thing in the morning. Click on this Visit the Store tab, and you will see everything there is to offer here at the LFA TV store. You see this mug? Barb Naylor, the great, talented Barb Naylor, made these mugs the foremost iconic photographs of the 2024 cycle. Obviously, the mug shot, the fight photo, the McDonald's photo, which is just hilarious, waving out the drive-thru. I mean, it's just so silly with his apron on. The garbage truck after Joe Biden called us garbage. Remember that before the election? Too bad the autopen couldn't take the blame for that one, too. You've got the Made America Great Again shirt, the I Don't Really Care Margaret shirt, the Trump Vance flag. Got these flannels. You see I'm rocking the blue one today. There's red ones there as well. The Rise Up coffee, which is, it's back. You can go ahead and order that for Dad. Pair that up with the coffee mug, and you've got yourself a great Father's Day gift. LFATV.us, 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 or jeremyherrell.com/store. All right. Again, those of you who are watching, if you could hit that thumbs up button. Of course, if you like what you're hearing. If you don't like what you're hearing, then I think you might be a stupid person. Oh, we're just kidding. Shots fired. We don't love that. We don't want to deal with that. Okay. Let's make it a priority to push us over that 700, maybe 800, maybe 1,000. You know the rule. We hit 1,000. You guys get to see Clover, who, she wanted to come in here earlier, but we had to get her out. Hit that thumbs up button for us. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you share this out with all your friends, and make sure you're following the channel, rumble.com/LFATV. All right, let's move into this big, beautiful budget bill right now in the Senate. It has passed the House, and it is not going to pass the Senate in its current form. All right, I'm not going to blow smoke up anybody's rear end. It is not going to pass the Senate in its current form. Not necessarily a bad thing for the reason that the Senate is highlighting here. According to many senators, many GOP senators right now, the spending cuts are not deep enough. The spending cuts are not deep enough here in this big, beautiful bill that passed the House of Representatives. Rand Paul, say what you want about him. I don't love the tariffs stance that he has. Ron Johnson, say what you want about him. Tom Tillis, I can't stand the guy, right? I like Rand Paul, generally. I can't stand Tom Tillis. I'm lukewarm on Ron Johnson. But I'll tell you what, Josh Hawley, I happen to respect. Rick Scott of Florida, I happen to respect. Rand Paul, I happen to respect when it comes especially to spending. His stances on spending. These guys all do not want to vote for the big, beautiful bill in its current form. It's not that they want to oppose the agenda. They want to cut spending a little deeper, which I can get behind. We have to cut spending. We have to cut the bloated, the federal budget is way too large. We've been talking about this for the last couple of years. Where, everybody in the chat, OGs, right? Let's show our newcomers how smart we actually are, okay? What number do I believe we should be starting at when we construct the federal budget? Should we be starting with last year's number? Or should we be starting at a different number? Where should we be starting when we're building the budget? Where should we be starting when we are building the federal budget? What number is the best number to start at when you start building a budget? Is it what you've already spent, which has already been proven to be too much? What number should we start at? Winky's got it. Michaels has it. There we go. Zero. Gina's got it. Stasi for real. Gina's got it, right? Zero. Not 2019. 2019 would be a good start. Zero. Start from zero, okay? Well, listen. This is the funniest part. Not funniest part, but I kind of dealt with this a little bit when I sold paint, right? I had a lot of schools that shopped with me. They bought paint from us, right? I sold a lot of paint to schools. Schools, obviously public schools, are government entities, right? They use taxpayer dollars. I had a lot of schools that would come in when their fiscal year was ending with a surplus of money to spend. So for me, as a sales guy, I was like, this is great. They're going to spend $20,000 with me now. I'm going to buy a new machine. They're going to do all this. But I asked them, I said, why do you always wait till the last day to spend it? And they said to me, that the reason this happens is because if we don't spend the money this year, we won't get the money next year. And I'm saying, man, what a ripoff. What a ripoff that is for the taxpayers, right? That's a ripoff. So you have a school district essentially, and the government does the same thing. If they don't spend it in 2025, they won't get it in 2026 because there's some bizarre justification. Well, you didn't have it last year, so why do you need it this year? Well, maybe there's just new projects that you need the maintenance for, right? Maybe there's new projects they need the maintenance for. And this is where I'm at, okay? I think when you're constructing a budget, you start with zero. You don't go to last year's number and build off of that. Last year's number was already too high, right? Does that make sense? So and as Matt Brown pointed out in the chat, I voted. We all voted, and he's pointing out right there too. This kind of thing happens everywhere, right? It is Mo time. This kind of thing happens everywhere. But we voted for fiscal responsibility. We voted for a balanced budget. We voted for paying down the debt. And the House made a nice attempt to cut trillions of dollars in spending over the next 10 years. But the Senate is saying, and this is a stance. I don't like Tillis. I'm not a big fan of Rand Paul's tariff stances, though I am a fan of his in general. I like Hawley. I like Rick Scott. Ron Johnson, I'm kind of like, on, right? But here's the deal, right? I respect this stance that they want to be more responsible with our money. And so there's going to be changes made to this bill, which, as we said many, many times, the bill is not going to be perfect, right? Some Republican Senate members fear the bill does not do enough to curb government spending over the next 10 years, and that those in the bond market are running away from investment over the spending concerns. Rick Scott said, I think we're having trouble selling our long bonds already. Citing the rising interest rate in the United States bond market. A U.S. bond is a debt security that is issued by the U.S. to investors after lending money to the U.S. government. You're promised a return on the investment at a later date. Usually interest rates for bonds are rather low in comparison to other securities. However, yield rates have been increasing, signaling higher risk in the bond market and lower trust in the U.S. dollar. That's because we can't stop spending money like drunken sailors. Scott is one of 4 senators on the right side of the aisle in Congress who have voiced opposition to the levels of spending in the bill. He said he wants to get a deal done. Obviously, Rick Scott supports the president's agenda. He says, I support the border. I support the military. I support extending the tax cuts. But we have to live in reality. We've got to live in reality here. We have a fiscal crisis. You saw the Japanese bond market's in trouble. You saw the American bond market is in trouble. Inflation is not coming down. It is cooling. Interest rates are not coming down. That means we've got to balance the budget. And so that's what you're seeing in the Senate. Now, a lot of people are bringing up Doge cuts. They are not a part of this current bill. They are not a part of this current bill. But they will be up for a future vote, according to Byron Donalds, after this budget bill has been brought up. But I have to caution something here. I have to kind of just float this out there and just think about this. I was on a Twitter space last night and I brought up the endorsements because that's one of the things that I'm going to be very, very annoying about going forward. Endorsing these spineless, lukewarm candidates, right? That Donald Trump is endorsing. We heard of a bunch of senators who are against the Doge cuts right now, Republican senators. And I bet there's another large number of them in the House as well. The problem with this is they're not threatened. They're not going to feel any sort of threat. They're not going to feel any sort of pressure. We can call them. But if they got the endorsement of the president already, they have nothing to fear, essentially. Unless the grassroots sends a message and bucks Trump on a couple of his picks, in terms of Congress, not in terms of his cabinet, unless there are bad, nominations that we'll find out about. Okay? We've got a lot of swamp creatures that are right now earning the endorsement of, not earning, they're being given the endorsement of Donald Trump, the same swamp creatures that will oppose Doge cuts. The people you want to vote in favor of Doge cuts may not vote in favor of Doge cuts, and they're not feeling any fear of loss with regards to their position because their bad behavior has already been rewarded. That's why I think this is a major, major misstep with regards to some of these endorsements, and we'll get to more of that in a little bit. I want to do we're going to laugh a little bit. Yesterday or a couple days ago, this just goes to show you the Democrats do not at all represent us in the slightest. Anybody from Maryland in the chat? Is there anybody in the chat? I don't remember. Is there anybody in the in our live chat from the great state of Maryland? Anybody here from Maryland in the chat? I'm waiting to see. And Sauce is right. New Jersey needs to send a message and vote for Bill Spadia. I agree. The Chattarelli endorsement is silly. Anybody here from Maryland? I'm waiting to see because their chat's a little delayed. Because I've got an update from there we go. In his word is from Maryland. Very good. Okay, do you happen to be in the Prince George's County area? Where Kilmar Abrigo Garcia was living. Because I want to show you what the congressman out there said. There you go. YT2 is there. Yes, from Maryland. Very good. Take a look at what the congressman out there. He went to El Salvador. They're wasting away again in Kilmargaritaville. Right? VC1111 is from Maryland. All right? Here we go. Take a look at this. This scene outside of El Salvador. This little, temper tantrum that went on here. Shows you this congressman does not represent you at all. If this is your congressman, you're being betrayed. Watch.
I'm the congressman that represents Kilmar. I came all the way down from the United States after we'd contacted their ambassador, after we'd made formal requests to our ambassador.
Let me just stop right there real quick, and the sound is a little weird. I'm the congressman who represents Kilmar. He does not represent Kilmar. Because Kilmar is an illegal alien. Shouldn't be in Maryland. Shouldn't be in the United States. But listen to this. When is the last time you've seen your congressman fight this hard for you? A legal U.S. citizen, voter, and constituent. When is the last time? Republican or Democrat, by the way. I could name a few who have fought hard for us. Andy Ogles has fought very hard for us. Eli Crane in Arizona has done pretty well with Kelly Walker. 2 out of 220. That's not a very big number. There's a few others, of course. Tim Burchett is somebody who fights very hard for his people. When's the last time you've seen someone fight this hard for you, specifically Democrats, but on both sides of the aisle? Watch this.
I'm the congressman that represents Kilmar. I came all the way down from the United States after we'd contacted their ambassador, after we'd made formal requests to our ambassador to the El Salvadoran government. And we came here to visit him today. And now they're telling us we got to go all the way back to El Salvador, to San Salvador to get a permit. That's ridiculous. We ought to have a chance to come in and visit. They knew we were coming. They knew why we were coming. And they know we have the right to do this. So they need to just cut the crap. Let us get in there and have a chance to see him and talk with him. We got his lawyer here. We got somebody from the unions here to talk with him. Let us in. Stop playing games. Let us have a chance to talk with him.
You don't have the right to go to El Salvador to interview or talk with an El Salvadoran national who's in prison for being a gang member. What can you show me where they have that right? Can anybody show me where they have that right? Has this guy, I don't even know who that is. I don't know his name. Has this guy ever fought this hard for his constituents out there in Prince George's County? Anybody? Can anybody remember seeing any of your representatives fight that hard for you? Even Republicans. Did you see many? Many. Some did. But, I mean, the majority of Republicans, they didn't even fight that hard for J6ers. Matt Gaetz did. Marjorie Taylor Greene did. I have my disagreements with her, but she was good on J6. I could say that. Who was that? Let's see. Oh, you were also on Newsmax. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was on Newsmax this morning at 8:50 Eastern Time. Louis Gohmert of Texas. Remember Louis, Brendan? We met Louis in Bedminster, the gentleman from Texas. He was just what a great guy. I was talking baseball with him because he's from Texas. Nolan Ryan, right? Louis Gohmert fought that hard for J6ers, but this guy's fighting hard for a guy who doesn't even belong in his country. Here's another one. Speaking of illegal aliens, right? This is my favorite argument. It's Gerald Nadler, who sounds a lot like Charles Schumer, because they're both decaying New York, quote-unquote, Jewish politicians in the New York City area. Here's Jerry Nadler, the Penguin, right? Who used to buy his pants from the same place Ringling Brothers bought their tents for the circus. I guess he took the fat shot. I don't know. Jerry Nadler talking about, well, we can't deport the illegals. Don't you understand what will happen if we deport the illegals? Watch.
And we need immigrants in this country. Forget the fact that the farm, that our vegetables would rot in the ground if they weren't being picked by many immigrants, many illegal immigrants. The fact is that the birth rate in this country is way below replacement level, which means our population is going to start shrinking. And the ratio of people on Social Security and Medicare is going to increase relative to the number of people supporting them.
Did you hear what he said? Both things, right? Number one, there is no more of a racist statement to say than what Jerry Nadler just said. Our food is going to rot in the ground, saying that many illegal immigrants, his words, are the ones that are picking it. What is the difference? This is a serious question. What is the difference between saying that and being a Democrat back in the 1860s saying, well, if we free the slaves, who's going to pick the cotton? Newsflash, it's the same thing. But number two, the birth rate, that is rich coming from the party of abortion. And they're not just the party of the quote-unquote right, which isn't a right to abortion. They're the party of encouraging abortions. They're the party of outside the DNC. They had a mobile abortion bus that booked up days of appointments, booked up in hours, like this. How about if you want the birth rate to increase in our country, you stop telling pregnant women to kill their kids? That sound like a plan, Jerry Nadler? What a disgusting guy. The Penguin, right? What a disgusting guy. I can't think of a more disgusting reason to keep illegal aliens here. Well, who's going to pick our food? You know, those plantation owners back in the 1860s would be awfully proud the Democrat Party hasn't changed one bit. If you free the slaves, who's going to pick the cotton? If you deport the illegals, who's going to pick the food? What? There is no difference. None whatsoever. Just like there is no difference between the term colored person and the Democrats' favorite term, person of color. It's the same words. There's just an of. It's the exact same phrase. The Democrat Party is sick. Absolutely sick. All right. And that's why they took advantage of Joe Biden, who I don't believe is completely and totally a victim here. I want to be very clear. Okay? This is a guy who is certainly not absolved of his sins just because he lost his mind. But we will get to that in just a second. Before we do that, I would like to get to a word from our friends over at Armra Colostrum. You guys heard of this? Tryarmra.com/LFA TV. Colostrum, ladies and gentlemen, is an amazing, I guess you would call it a supplement. This is a supplement. I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. This is Armra Colostrum. It's the first nutrition that we receive in life. We get it when we're tiny little baby people, right? Little tiny people. Little baby people. Making boom booms in the diaper like crooked Joe Biden, except he's not a baby person. He's a big person, not a stupid person. Well, colostrum is the first nutrition we receive in life, contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. That's why we get it when we're born, right? From breast milk, etc. It helps reactivate your hair growth and helps your skin glow. It'll stimulate your stem cells and collagen production, increasing elasticity for plumper skin, guarding against UV damage, chemicals and pollutants from the environment, and it'll help clear blemishes for a glowy complexion, like my perfect orange skin. You know about it. It'll help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, which is nice. It'll help fuel your fitness performance and recovery. And you can get 15% off of your first order with this offer that they've put together for you. That's right. The thousands upon thousands of you that are watching right now can get 15% off of your first order at Try, that's T-R-Y, Armra, A-R-M-R-A, tryarmra.com/LFA-TV, Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor. That's tryarmra.com/LFA-TV for 15% off of your first order. Try, T-R-Y, armra.com/LFA-TV for 15% off of your first order. It's right there. Don't miss out on this great deal. Tryarmra.com/LFA-TV. All right, hit that thumbs up button, ladies and gentlemen. Keep going. Make sure that if you're watching and you don't have a Rumble account, that you create a Rumble account. It's the best way to support the #1 free speech platform on the internet. We're closing in on 800. MAGA Mo comes out at 800. We're 34 away. I think you do. Did I do Mo already? I think I did Mo. All right, Mo's here. Here we go. There's Big Mo. So that's our hedgehog, our mascot right there. We love it. All right, let's move into. I want to move into this story here, and I hope we can continue this momentum. This may be the only thing that saves us in the midterms with these do-nothing congressmen taking off another week. They're off for the week, by the way. And then for the entire month of August, they're off the whole month. Nice. Must be nice. Public disgust is mounting. And it's being demonstrated and shown in new polling that is being released now regarding the cognitive decline cover-up. And I remember when when Joe Biden first dropped out of the race and the debate and all that, we were saying, look, the Democrats and the mainstream media could and should absolutely be held accountable and held responsible for this, right? For this cover-up. Everybody saw it. Nobody believes Joe Biden got dementia overnight. Nobody believes that June 27th was the first time that members of the mainstream media ever saw that Joe Biden was old or was losing his mind. Nobody believes that. And now you have Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson. They wrote this book. They're making the rounds, right? Jake Tapper, running around out there, acting like he didn't see it, and the media missed it, and we have to learn from this. He was part of the cover-up. Well, there has been a poll. That has come out and has demonstrated and illustrated that the public is furious with the media's handling of the Biden cognitive decline cover-up, and that is very important. It shows you that a plurality, nearly half of the respondents either thought it was serious or very serious, 48%, okay, was that the press covered up the Joe Biden cognitive decline, and that nearly 2/3 of independents were as likely to suspect the press was part of the Biden cover-up. So independents and folks on our side of the aisle are very unhappy with what the media did regarding Joe Biden's cognitive decline and the reporting that went with it, or lack thereof. It is one of the greatest scandals in the history of the presidency. Because not only was he cognitively declined, but we also found out that whoever used that autopen, Donald Trump is saying, essentially usurped the power of the presidency, which is true. If a machine is signing bills in somebody's name, and a machine is signing orders in somebody's name, and a machine is signing pardons in somebody's name, and that somebody doesn't know that it's being done, then it's a coup. Joe Biden was literally a figurehead, which we somewhat imagined, but I mean, this autopen scandal is really starting to hit it's starting to hit the fan here. And if it turns out that it's true that Elizabeth Warren was one of the people behind the autopen, listen, lady, you ran for president. And you lost in the primary. Bigly, right? You lost bigly. You lost like nobody's ever lost before. The voters sent you a smoke signal, and the smoke signal said, get the hell out of here, you're fired. Let me get Big Mo, MAGA Mo.
You get him.
Because we have, there he is. This has been a while since he is.
Yeah.
This is the Big Mo, right? Our big hedgehog. He's got the high honk and the low honk. There it is. There it is. The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to that man behind the auto pen, right? The Wizard of Oz. All right. Finally, I want to caution you. I want to just let you know about this. In the chat, tell me if you would support Donald Trump endorsing John Cornyn over Ken Paxton in the Texas Senate primary. I have a feeling what that chat's going to say, but I'd like to see the chat break with regards to responses. Would you support Donald Trump endorsing incumbent Republican in name only Senator John Cornyn over Texas Attorney General and Pitbull Ken Paxton? Would you support that? Look at this. Look at the chat. Absolutely not. Look at like it has never been more unanimous than this. Look at this chat right now. I haven't seen one yes. Look at it. It is, look at this chat. All right. I agree with you. 100%. But I have some potentially bad news or what I would interpret as a bad indicator. This is coming from the National Pulse. All right. Raheem Kassam's outlet. Chris LaCivita, Donald Trump's campaign manager and chairman from the 2024 cycle, is working with incumbent Rhino Texas Senator John Cornyn to defeat Ken Paxton. Now, all that means right now is that somebody who used that is not a flattering picture of Mr. LaCivita, okay?
Hey.
Folks, it's alarming because this could be an angle for a Trump endorsement of the absolute wrong guy, or it could be an angle to keep Donald Trump from endorsing John Cornyn's opponent. LaCivita, a lot of people have raised concerns that he's an establishment type of guy. I give him credit where it's due. Trump's 2024 campaign was incredibly strong. This right here worries me. And I hope we don't see this endorsement of John Cornyn. I'm just showing you that's an indicator. I'm not telling you it's going to happen. What I am going to say, though, sadly, is I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I would encourage you guys to get on Truth and bring this up. I would encourage everybody to be loud about this and to demand that we stop endorsing the swamp that we're trying to drain. All right. Jeremy Harrell is up next here on Live from America, LFA TV. Coming up next for the next 2 hours, we got to run to join the great Michael Patrick Leahy for the Tennessee bonus hour on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. As President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, we will never ever surrender. And if all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, rumble.com/LFA TV. And in the words of that lunatic senator from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman. Good night, everybody. Bang gavel. We will see you tomorrow morning. Jeremy Harrell up next with Live for America for the next 2 hours. We'll see you tomorrow.